More, of course, at 12:30.
This afternoon, there's a news summary at 3:10, the early evening news at 5:40. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hello, good afternoon. Well, it was first time back to work and school for many people this morning. After the long Christmas break, the weather did nothing to lift the spirits, with rain, sleet and even snow in places. But it looks a little bit better for the rest of this week, certainly milder than last week, but it's going to be wet and windy at times, especially during the next 24 hours. As for the rest of today, well, the last of that rain and sleet is clearing away from the southeast slowly now. Some hazy sunshine elsewhere, mist and fog patches around, rather a grey scene for many, but greyer up in the northwest as cloud thickens later this afternoon, with some rain to come into western parts of Northern Ireland and Scotland by late afternoon, early evening. The rest of us staying dry, but rather misty and murky for a time, before that rain spreads further south and east across the whole of Britain during the night. The southeast probably dry until morning, but along with that rain, some strong winds, even severe gales up in the northwest. But as you can see, the temperature's well above freezing for us all tonight. Let's look ahead now for the next 4 days. The rain we've seen coming in tonight will still be around in the south tomorrow, with brighter weather following on behind. Wednesday, well, rain in the south, but showers in the north, some of it even wintry, with snow on the hills again. Thursday and Friday, a band of thicker cloud across central parts of Britain, leaving some rain. On either side of that is a little bit brighter with some sunshine. But the good news, amongst all the wet and windy weather, is that it will be milder than it's been over the last week. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. A 20-year-old man has been sent to a Young Offenders Institute for 3.5 years for killing 2 teenagers by dangerous driving. Richard Brock reports.
Alan Tomsit from Sheerness was driving this stolen BMW at speeds up to 110 miles an hour when he crashed into another vehicle on the Isle of Sheppey in July last year. 2 of the 3 teenage passengers in the car were killed, 15-year-old Caroline Cinderby and 14-year-old Mark McCullum. All 6 people in the other car were injured. Only Tomsit walked out of the crash virtually unscathed. The parents of the dead teenagers left court after the sentence, still shocked, still grieving.
The great shame of the whole thing is that 2 young lives have been destroyed and a 3rd one has been greatly affected. They can't be brought back, they can't be mended.
Tomsit, who doesn't have a driving licence, admitted he'd smoked a large amount of cannabis before driving the car. Judge Felix Whaley told him it was a miracle he didn't kill more people. He was also ordered to serve a further 9 months for a series of burglaries. Richard Brock at Maidstone Crown Court, Meridian News.
Surgeons are battling to save the life of a young man clubbed unconscious on the Isle of Sheppey. A policeman found the victim lying in a pool of blood in an alleyway by the Sheppey drugstore in Portland Terrace. He's been named as 24-year-old Alan Atfield from Marine Parade in Sheerness. He suffered serious injuries to his head and face and is critical at London's Atkinson Morley Hospital. P&O ferries are scrapping their service between Dover and Boulogne. The move means 39 staff in Boulogne will be made redundant. The remainder are transferring to Calais. The 2 ships involved, the Pride of Hythe and the Pride of Canterbury, will be sold off. Permanent crews won't be affected. P&O says all British crews will retain their jobs with the launch of the new Dover to Calais ferry, Pride of Burgundy, in the spring. It's being claimed that the new European single market could bring a flood of hard drugs into the southeast. Union leaders representing customs staff at Dover say lowering trade barriers will turn Dover into a paradise for drug smugglers. Mark Percy reports.
Down come the familiar red and green customs channels at Dover, and down come the barriers to trade with Europe. Routine baggage inspections are things of the past. But the war on drug smuggling continues, with many uniformed customs officers switching to plainclothes surveillance operations.
We will build on our current successes and we will make a major impact on the drug trafficking in the UK.
Highly trained sniffer dogs are still the pride of the customs service, but union leaders representing customs staff fear lowering of trade barriers under the single market will bring a flood of drugs into Britain.
The drug smuggler will know exactly where the weaknesses are, and I believe there'll be more drugs coming into this country.
In 1992, drug seizures at Dover were up by a quarter, and that despite the ingenious hiding places found by the drugs barons for their evil cargo. Mark Percy, Meridian News.
An overturned lorry has closed a motorway exit on the M2 in Kent. The 38-ton vehicle is lying across the hard shoulder of the Junction 6 Faversham turnoff. The coastbound carriageway is still operating 2 lanes, but the exit won't be cleared until after 10 o'clock tonight. Commuters in the South.East face big rail fare increases today. Prices are up 9.7%, which means season tickets will cost hundreds of pounds more. Philip Hornby reports.
Before dawn at Headcorn, home station of the divisional manager of Network South.East. And as he made his way to his first-class compartment, other passengers were furious about the increases.
I think it's disgraceful because, for a start, there's no heating in this carriage this morning. We're all sitting here with our overcoats on. This is the sort of thing we have to put up with.
Do you think people get value for money from British Rail?
No.
You don't get what you pay for.
BR say fares have to rise partly because passenger numbers have dropped. So you should put the prices down and encourage people to use the trains.
Well, that's hardly economic sense. That's the economics of the madhouse. And
Wouldn't Marks and Spencer's do that? If they had fewer customers, they'd put their prices down. They'd have a sale.
They may well be able to, but they're not working in an environment where they're working with sponsorship by the government.
The lucky ones, of course, renewed their season tickets on Saturday, beating the rise. Those who didn't arrived today in London angry. For them, it isn't proving to be a very happy new year. Philip Hornby at Charing Cross for Meridian News.
Hurstmonceux Castle in Sussex, the former home of the Royal Observatory, may be sold off. The estate agent Savills refused to confirm reports that they're in negotiations with a Canadian university over the sale, but they've said an announcement's expected in the next few weeks. The castle was sold in 1989 for £8 million, but soon after the new owners went into receivership. The asking price is now around £5 million. Well, they've been holding an antiques roadshow with a difference at the Royal Engineers Museum at Gillingham. It was a case of bring along your old samurai sword or your World War I German helmet, with experts from the museum on hand to give you more information.
It's a Japanese sword that's been in my wife's family for a few years, and we've never really understood or known much about the history of it. And we decided to bring it along to get an expert's appraisal and tell us a bit about the history of it.
Is it a bit odd, perhaps, to have a fascination with something that's been used to hack goodness knows how many people to death?
I suppose it is, really. I suppose that's part of the fascination. It's a morbid sort of fascination. But I think that is part of the curiosity of the sword.
Visitors also had a chance to see the museum's latest acquisitions, 2 VCs, bringing the total at Gillingham to 22. A dream winter wedding's taken place at a picturesque Kent church, but there was one vital ingredient missing, the traditional peal of bells. Well, an ambitious plan soon put that problem right. Lucy Mayer reports.
Set in the heart of the Kent countryside, St Paul's Church in Rusthall near Tunbridge Wells looks like the ideal place for a dream wedding. But one thing St Paul's lacks is a set of pealing bells. That's why when their son announced he was to get married here, Maurice and Elsie EMES called in the experts to finally make the bells ring at St Paul's for the first time in history. They recorded the bells from this church in their hometown in the Cotswolds and had it played back on the big day in Kent.
Yes, well, I think that you have to do mad things sometimes in your life, don't you? And I think it could, who knows, it might catch on. I mean, it could be a good bit of business in this for the recording man, who knows?
I thought it was really good, actually. I mean, it was Dad's idea, I think, originally, but I was absolutely delighted.
But did the recording from up in the Cotswolds really sound like the real thing? You can decide for yourselves. Lucy Mayer, Meridian News.
Sounds good to me. Something else in the air. New radio stations on the air in Sussex. Eastbourne Local Radio's on a month's trial under a new scheme launched by the Radio Authority. The independent station was launched at midnight on New Year's Eve and is promising a modern community service. Well, that's all from the Meridian newsroom for now. We'll be back with a roundup of all the top stories at 3:15. Join us then.
Well, we sincerely apologise. We're having problems bringing you Meridian's weather at the moment. We'll hopefully have an update on the weather forecast for you later this afternoon. Well, as we have a few seconds in hand, let's have a look ahead to Tuesday evening here on Meridian. At 7 o'clock, Emmerdale. Then at 7:30, a new series called Ambulance. At 8 o'clock, The Bill. And then at 8:30, Mr. Bean Rides Again. Classic comedy, of course, starring Rowan Atkinson. Then at 9 o'clock, a brand new comedy series called Full Stretch. That's coming up tonight on Meridian.
Starting tomorrow, Meridian salutes the unsung heroes of the South, the men and women of the ambulance service.
Right, nice deep breath. Good. That's the cue.
As the staff of Portsmouth, Maine deal with up to 800 calls in a month, the cameras follow the daily drama of life at the busiest ambulance station in the south of England.
Put it to your face and just breathe it in.
Okay then?
I think this is more of a way of life than an actual job. Every time you go out on the road, you are taking part in somebody's life.
Ambulance starts tomorrow at 7:30 on Meridian.
And alarm bells are ringing in a couple of minutes as Sophie suffers a setback in today's Home and Away. Stay with us.
This superstore offers its customers permanently low prices, this week and every week. That's Asda price.
She slashed his suits. She trashed his shoes.
All I did was have a little fling.
With her sister, sir.
She parked his favorite plane in the TV. Then made herself some low-fat Ovaltine light. After which, she saw the lighter side of things, but he... well, he didn't.
Better put the kettle on, Constable.
New Cadbury's Time Out is a wafer snack with a difference. A layer of Cadbury's flake chocolate. Now, when you take a break, take a time out. Forceps.
Forceps.
Retractor.
Retractor.
Spinny thing.
Spinny thing.
The president is now stable, Dr. Billy! Billy takes time out.
Come on, young man, time for breakfast.
Oh, hello, Mum. Didn't see you there.
Oh, you're getting so heavy.
Well, I can't think why. I haven't eaten for hours.
One more.
No, I'm full. Why? Doesn't he realise I'll inherit that T-shirt one day? Another wash and it'll fade to girly pink. Gangway! Oh, no, look at that butter. It's ruined. You'll never get it out.
Don't worry, I'm using new Persil colour because it tackles the most stubborn stains, even butter.
Right then, Mr. New Persil colour. My mum says that no other powder dissolves greasy stains better. So let's see. It's clean, and it's still red.
New Persil colour washes out stains without bleaching out colour.
Maybe red doesn't suit me after all.
A very good afternoon. This is Meridian, and time now to journey to Summer Bay for Home and Away.